10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now tuned.
If you have a request or shout out, hit us up live in the studio. And now your host.
A very good morning to all of our fantastic listeners here in South Africa and to all of our great international listeners tuning in. Welcome to Let's Talk Showbiz for your breakfast, lunch or supper. My name is Nico Barnard.
And I am Shantae Russ, and you are tuned in for the 6th episode of Let's Talk Showbiz for Season 2, featuring the epic band, well, a member of the epic band of The Capitals in studio today. Stay tuned for that awesomeness. With some great long weekends ahead and some upcoming Easter vibes, we hope that everyone is having a fantastic week so far.
Speaking about week, I hope that everything has been good on your side.
Yes, thank you. And you?
It's been a busy week.
Any highlights?
A few. Let's just say that I was excited for the public holiday tomorrow until I realized there's no such thing as a public holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, that I have to work. But it's fine, you know,
And what did you do with St. Paddy's Day?
Nothing.
See, you know, like, you either get the, like, strong religious celebration of St. Patrick's Day, or you get the strong get smashed. So I was somewhere in the middle.
Oh, you were somewhere in the middle.
So one of my awesome friends, she's got attention to detail, and she did this awesome thing where she just cooked food inspired by St. Patrick's Day or Irish food. And then she invited a couple of us, and we just chilled.
Can I be honest? I'm going to sound so out of it, but I actually forgot when it was. Like, I didn't even know that it was the day on the day because I was just so busy. So
it was a Sunday though.
I kind of missed it. Yeah, but that doesn't even.
But anyway, shout out to Angela. Thank you for an epic St. Paddy's Day. And shout out to
They love making food. Every time I always see they make awesome food. I said to her, one Christmas I'm going to spend it with her because I always just see pictures of food and it's such a nice food. But speaking of a crazy week.
Yes, before we jump into our segment of the show, What's Hot? Remember, you can catch up on any of our previous episodes, which is available on our podcasts on YouTube.
And that being said, it's time for your weekly dose of the world of entertainment right here on Let's Talk Showbiz, kicking off with the What's Hot segment for this week.
Yeah. In the world of Africa's current leading storyteller, MultiChoice, the MultiChoice Talent Factory, or shortened MTF, launches Pan-Africa Networking Portal. The interactive online portal is aimed at profiling and connecting Africa's industry creatives and bringing Pan-Africa's talent and opportunities together in one place, allowing filmmakers across the continent to network, find talent, and showcase their work. So intrigued by this new platform, be sure to check out the MTF website to find out more. Actually, Nico, can you just tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, the MTF portal, it forms part of the investment MultiChoice has made to improve the quality and the supporting of productions of local content and storytelling across the continent. The MTF portal will serve both seasoned professionals and aspiring talent in Africa's film and TV industry. It's a really, really exciting platform, I think. A good initiative that they're launching. Really excited about that.
Cool. And then on the new African Film Festival, which celebrates its 15th year as it showcases the vibrancy of African filmmaking from all the corners of the continent, bringing the best in contemporary African cinema to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that's right. 37 films from 22 countries. The South African cinema is proudly featured in the program's lineup this year with 7 films set and produced in South Africa. And another 2 highly acclaimed films co-produced by South African film creators, including Akasha and Skills of My People.
That's awesome. I'm actually very curious to see Akasha. It actually got a lot of...
it did get a lot of good reviews and feedback.
And jumping to the headlines of television and series platforms, Netflix launched their first fully South African-produced series titled Shadow on their international platform last week. And word has it, it's a hit.
So with the hype already wrapped around this new series, if you haven't yet, go see what all the new fans are raving about. We will also post a brief synopsis of the new esteemed action of the man strategically fixing the injustice of the underground Johannesburg while operating with a medical condition that has blessed him with the ability to feel no pain.
Nada.
It's probably where the slogan comes in: "No pain, all gain." I saw that when I'm on the highway, they're advertising it on the walls.
Yes.
So, and then the tagline, it's "No pain, all
You know,
gain."
it's funny. I didn't even see it on a picture-based social media. I heard about it from people, and I was at Open Window for private reasons, and just all of it was like, "Yo, Shadow, did you get it? Did you see it? Shadow, do you see the episode?" You know, and I'm just going, "What?
What?
What are they talking about?" And then it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've heard that it's doing quite well. I haven't been able to. The same with the girl from St. Agnes. The people are also going on about that, saying it's really, really good. It's a good show.
I think I'm just very intrigued. Like just looking at the trailer, I'm very intrigued by Shadow's standard.
Yeah.
And also script. And although they use South African accents, how neutral they are. So
True.
I'm actually really intrigued to see it. So planning to
And
budget for some Netflix.
isn't that the show that Pearl is also featuring in? Pearl?
No, that's Queen Sono.
Oh yeah, that's Queen Sauna. That's another one. Okay, a lot happening.
And in the world of theatre, the 54th annual Fleer de Cap announced their winners last week as the country's leading theatre practitioners were applauded for their acting, directing, staging, and technical abilities.
That's right, 87 productions were eligible for consideration within the 26 categories, which included the Award for the Lifetime Achievement awarded to Saul Radomski and the Award for Innovation in Theatre awarded to the Theatre Arts Admin Collective. Well done to you guys.
Yes, and we'll obviously post that also, a
Yes.
link to all the awards. And while we're on the theatre awards, the Oscars for theatre, the Tony Awards announced that James Corden will host the 73rd annual ceremony in June. James Corden is not only a Tony Award winner himself, winning for the role he played in One Man, Two Governors, but this will also be his second
He's so
time
funny.
celebrating Broadway's best as the host for the night.
And quoting James, "I am thrilled to be returning to host the Tony Awards. The Broadway community is very dear to my heart, and I am beyond proud to be part of this incredible special night."
Have you ever watched some of his
Yes, I do.
those car shows?
I've watched a lot of his stuff. I'm constantly on YouTube. I'm constantly on YouTube, and then I'm looking a lot. I
think my
it.
favorite one is still with Jennifer Hudson, where they had McDonald's ordering a burger while
Oh,
singing.
I haven't seen that one. I saw the latest one that he did with Gaga, and I saw the one he did with Christina, and I saw the one he did with the Jonas Brothers after their
And bringing up Into the
reunion.
Woods, you know, since the theatre one is out, it brings back memories of the film where he
Oh,
played the
yes.
narrator and
I
the
remember
baker.
that was
It's
funny.
pretty cool. And also in the international scope, a sneak reveal for West End theatres. Frozen the musical has announced to be relaunched in 2020 due to high demand, and it will be at the West End.
Not only was the first animation musical film a hit, but die-hard fans can soon expect the sequel film to be
Yeah.
released in cinemas soon, with theatre nerds and Frozen fans hoping to be presented with the sequel stage musical too.
Let it go.
Then finally, moving into the dance section, the dance's favorite season of the year will be relaunched at the end of March, with 100 artists relaunched at the Dance Umbrella Africa
Yes.
Festival. DUA will make its return to the South African State Theatre from the 31st of March until the 7th of April,
Yes, I'm very excited for it.
2019.
Celebrating the relaunch, the lineup will showcase South Africa and the world's most prolific dancers and choreographers, including Lulu Mahlangeni, Sonia Radebe, and Julia Burnham, Bumlani Nyanga, Dirk Badenhorst, German-Australian Helga Letonia, Madagascar's Gabby Saranofi, as well as works from dance companies such as Vunyo Dance Theatre and moving into Dance Mabatong, to name just but a few.
Yeah, it's amazing. And we will be posting more about the Dance Umbrella on our Facebook page and Twitter pages. Exciting platforms await the world of dance, and an important one for established and up-and-coming dancers in our industry.
It really, really, really is. And I just remember studying, and some of our dancers actually got to participate in it. And just watching them, I feel like South Africa just needs so much more platforms like that. Because, you know, you have your classic ballets and your contemporaries and whatnot.
Yeah.
But this just gives a boost. It's
Yeah.
not just
It's just on a
educational,
different
it's also celebratory.
Yeah.
Your classic ballets are like on point. It's just, it's a different category
It
altogether.
caters for a different market.
In a
It
sense,
serves
yeah.
a different purpose.
And more upcoming artists as well, which is what I so love about it. So in the world of music, YouTube Music has launched in SA. Yep, that's right. Your favorite music will now not only be available as a video platform, but also as streamed music via that website.
And on the 16th of March, indie pop rock icons The Cure, considered one of the greatest rock acts in the world, headlined the 2019 Rock on the Lawns at Carnival City and was in Cape Town yesterday during the public holiday for the Rock on the Lawns event at the Kenilworth Racecourse on the 21st of March. Rock on Lawns is a one-day celebration of rock and roll in all its forms. If you were at the event this past week, give us a shout-out on our social media.
Yes, just do it. And lastly, for today's episode of What's Hot, International meets Local with Grammy Award-winning band All For One, along with Lady Samar, Alistair Isabel, Emo Adams, Sasha Lee Davids, and Abrahams, are all touring to South Africa this month. And while Ed Sheeran diehard fans are going crazy for that one-man show, keep an eye out for your other favorite artists' shows while they are on South African soil.
And that's all we have time for today, but make sure that you follow us on social media where we continuously post updates, events, and news for you to continuously keep you in the loop of what's hot in the loo. Not in the loo. We don't want to keep you in the loo. We want to keep you in the loop. We want to keep you in the loop of what's hot in the industry locally and internationally. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Let's Talk Showbiz and on Twitter at Let's Showbiz. Remember, you can also tag us in your post on social media to keep us in the loop of the events and the industry gems out there. We would love to hear from you to feature you local and international flavors in our show.
Yeah, give us some new flavor. I mean, we don't want just stuff that's on the internet. We want stuff that doesn't hit the first page of Google. And we just want to reshare it and just let everybody know what's happening right around the corner. Fruit Loops, y'all.
Fruit Loops.
And whilst we have the lead singer of the Capitals in studio today, we will be talking about their awesome music, tours, and their latest hot single in just a moment.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.beastownmedia.co.za.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Showbiz. If you just tuned in, that was Josh Murray with his hot new single, Ablaze. Speaking about hot, we have the awesome lead singer of the Capitals with us here in studio. Conrad, welcome to Let's Talk Showbiz.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. It's a privilege to be here.
And do you want to give a shout out to the rest of your band members?
I will give a little shout out. Guys, where are you? Where are you guys?
Echo.
Yeah, echo.
Sound effect.
No.
We are very excited to be diving into more about the Capitals, their music, tours, and latest single, Bright Lights, which we will play in just a moment. But before that, let's just take a quick look at the Capitals and who they are. Nico.
Okay, so born, bred, and based in Pretoria, the Capitals are four relatively good-looking guys with a love for their city and an immense passion for their country. They will pick a fight with anyone who says there's no hope. In mid-2017, after its two originating members decided to leave the band to get married and start a family, Rix Alt and Conrad Rudolph were faced with the decision of giving up or fighting for their vision. They chose the latter. Conrad took the reins as the frontman and recruited the help of musician friend Seth on the bass and Wesley Ward on the rhythm guitar.
Yes, making the waves in Greater Gauteng and the Northwest Province, the Capitals, alongside their already dedicated Pretoria fan base, have had a very successful 2019 so far, not only spending much needed time in studio, but also sharing the stage with Beatenberg, that was awesome, adding them to their already substantial list of local acts that they have played with, for instance, Francois van Coke, Desmond and the Tutus, Gangs of Ballet, Matthew Mole, and Jack Parra on several occasions, regardless of the location, size of the crowd, or who they share the stage with. The Capitals' focus still remains on the audience's enjoyment, and I can vouch for that.
Having graced the stages of some of South Africa's most renowned rock venues like Arcade Empire and Aardklas Hatfield, the band has seen an increase in support across the country after making not only their Splashy Fin Festival debut last year, but also embarking on their first national tour, the Capital to Coast Tour, in December last year. That is a very clever use of words, I have to say. With the launch of their new single, Bright Lights, their long-awaited debut EP, Danger, Gevaar en Nkosi, is certain to push the Capitals' name even further into the homes of South Africa. It is most Nkosi.
Ngozi.
Nkosi.
Yeah.
Their energetic performances constantly improve as they push themselves harder, and their heartfelt, honest lyrics never fail to take audiences on a roller coaster of emotions as they explore what it means to be human.
The Capitals wants to meet people where they are at and give them an unforgettable experience, whether they're in a rut, on the top of the world, or looking for a party.
I'm on top of the world. And not to forget, they just did their Capitals Two Coast tour. So let's quickly introduce Conrad.
Yes. I'm Conrad.
Hi, Conrad.
Oh, I must actually just ask, who did your latest meme about the whole Capitals alliteration?
I generally do all the memes. Yeah, I'm kind of the word.
I dug it.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm kind of the word guy.
Explosion one.
My head just went, okay, how many uses of the word capital is there? Or are there? Is there? Are there? Grammar.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then I just figured, okay,
Of
cool. Let's do
capital
that.
importance.
Yeah. No, I think memes have kind of become such an integral part of
Right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful
like culture.
But
you know?
also like your band's culture specifically.
Well, for sure. Well, I think that was kind of a deliberate
like even your
decision.
GoFundMe video.
Yeah. So like a lot of that, we just figured, you know what, like people understand memes.
Yes.
Especially I think the people that we want to make music for. So it's kind of like trying to meet them where they're at and speaking a language that they understand.
So let's jump right away because we just spoke about we're speaking about memes and Chantel's throwing a few puns here next to me. So let's speak about Capitals to Coast tour. Tell us more about that. How was that experience?
That was amazing. Hey, we partnered with a local company who does non-profit organization. They do a lot of work in the community. The company's called RADA.
We love RADA.
Yeah. So basically, like they do a lot of work for like rape victims and people victims of abuse, drug and alcohol abuse as well. And they pretty much just funded us and helped us with this with the tour to be able to go from the capital city, which is Pretoria, to the coast, Durban and Cape Town. So hence the name, obviously.
It's a very smart use and worth. I have to
Yeah.
say
So they pretty much funded us, and then we were able to go from Pretoria. We played a few shows in Joburg, went to Potchefstroom as well, and then played a whole bunch of shows in Durban and then Cape Town.
Awesome.
And that was really great, being able to just take the music that kind of a lot of people in Pretoria kind of know now. And I've seen Shantae at a few gigs before. And being able to take it to people that have not heard any of our things like music before, except maybe for like our previous single, which is called Wake Up. And it's so encouraging, like going out and playing gigs across the country, and people are responsive to it. Like the response is great, and it's very encouraging. So we're really excited for the year, and hopefully see if we can maybe do a tour middle of the year, or maybe then again towards the end of the year. We'll see.
That's awesome.
Cool. So let's quickly rewind. So we've got a bit of a storyline with how the Capitals came to be in your bio. But how did you guys come up with the name?
That was a long process. We used to have another name that wasn't really conducive to, I suppose, let's call it a professional approach, because they kept teaming us up with other bands that were just horrendous. I'm not at this point, I think we've kind of embarrassed of the old name, so I'm not going to say what it was.
Oh, no, you're leaving us high and dry.
Well, okay. Look, I'll just for you guys, I'll tell you. So we used to be called Up Sexy, okay?
Up Sexy.
Yeah, and then
That
the
explains
whole thing is that
everything.
thing of like people go, "What's up, sexy?" and then you say, "Nothing. What's up with you?" So that's generally where it came from. But we found it so difficult to get like really good gigs because people weren't taking us seriously. The thing is, we don't take ourselves seriously, but we do.
Because you're having fun.
Exactly,
But you're still professional.
What we do, we take very seriously. But I mean, like I'm not in some sort of kind of misperception that I'm like this hot deal. I'm just like a regular dude from Pretoria, makes music, but
staying humble.
Yeah, and I try like, and I take it seriously. So we ended up getting like teamed up with Oaks, who, like. I wouldn't say like, let's just say they weren't the most savory acts, and we realized that okay, we'll have to do some sort of a change, and that was about a process of 3 months of us just kind of going, what do we call ourselves? And we had so many iterations, and eventually we realized that Pretoria, being the capital city, is kind of where the current lineup, all four of us met. It's such an integral part of our story. So we figured, why not just actually call it the Capitals? Well, at first we wanted to call it the Capital, but then we figured, let's just do the Capitals.
Yeah.
And then hopefully one day in the future we can do like a tour of the world capitals. I mean, that'll be great.
Yeah,
But
that would be, that would be
Hey.
awesome.
that's
That would be
pretty
dope.
much where that came from. No?
Okay, cool.
Okay, so going into a blast in the past, what was your first single and what was the creative and writing process behind it?
The first one. So Wake Up. So Wake Up was our first single that we did. We released it in September 2017. That was an interesting one. So that was our previous guy, the previous vocalist, Travis Millett. He and his then girlfriend, now wife, Tanya. So it was the four of us in the band: Ricky, myself, Travis, and Tanya. And we wrote that song. It was one of the first songs that the four of us wrote together. So
So it was like you all
yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
it was a very, very kind of special moment. Travis came up with a hook, and then we all sat and put it together. And then we were thinking, okay, what is kind of like an authentic South African flavor that we can add to this? And we referenced Johnny Clegg quite a lot.
Oh, that's awesome.
As well as what's the Graceland album from Paul Simon. Okay, so that's not really technically South African, but I mean, he did do a lot of work with local artists back in, I think it was the 80s. And it's a great album. So we referenced a lot of that. And then we produced the track. I would have loved to actually have had it done better in terms of radio play and but it's kind of difficult because it is more it's the way we wrote it was specifically actually for a live performance.
Yeah.
I mean, you touched on it earlier in the kind of very nice introduction you gave us. Like our live show is like our main focus. Like we always want people to have a great time when they come to a live show. So the whole song was structured around that, and I think it wasn't necessarily that conducive to a great radio single, which is something we definitely adapted and tried to change for the next single. So live, the song still works. Like people really get dancing, and it's always great. Like, I mean, one of my favorite moments ever was at a gig having an old, probably like 65-year-old white lady, and like this young, probably like 20-year-old black dude dancing together, and that's what it's all
that's
about.
so
It's just
sweet.
like, having people dance together.
I think it's also nice for you guys to know that that was your first single,
Yeah.
and regardless of what happened with the
Yeah.
song, you guys are still performing it.
Yeah.
It's still nice to see that was where you guys started, and now looking at your new music, you're like, not that the first single wasn't good, but you can also see how you guys have grown as a band.
For sure, yeah.
I think that's also good for you guys to see. Oh, this is where we started. This is where we are now, but still enjoying, the old music as well, which is great. Now, going back to with the question that Shantae said when we rewind about the story of the Capital.
Yeah.
So obviously you said it was Tanya and what's the other guy?
Travis.
Yeah. So they got married,
Yeah.
and then they left the
They
band.
eloped.
They
left
eloped,
the country.
and then you had to find two new band members. So
Yes.
how did it happen? How did you come upon your two new band members? What was the
so
did they just fall out of the sky?
No,
Like-
I've known Seth for quite a while. I used to be in a band with his brother. It's a band called The Forester, and he's still going, but he's in Japan at the moment. So I knew Seth through Ulrich, who's the Forester guy, and he had actually played with us a few times when was this, like 2017. So what happened was Travis and Tanya were in the band. Tanya left the band at the beginning of 2017. So we basically, it was just Ricky, Travis, and myself after we wrote the song, and then we'd need a bassist to help out because I was on guitars. And Seth is a mutual friend of us, so we asked him to help us out, and then he kind of helped out more regularly, and he slotted in really well, not just like musically but socially as well, because to us that's a very important thing. Like we want to be able to hang out and have a good conversation. So that's kind of where Seth came from. And then we had a gig. So Travis toured to England to visit Tanya, and so I was kind of like suddenly having to front a few shows, which was a really weird experience because I'd never fronted a band at that point. And then we needed an extra guitar, and Wesley was a friend of Ricky's, but we actually had another guitarist who was supposed to play. And that morning, the morning of the gig, the guy fell off a ladder and broke his heel.
Oh no.
So we were scrambling, and then Ricky was like, "Yeah, I know this guy who plays guitar. Like, I'll give him a call." And wow, Wesley, he blew me out of the water. Like literally,
because he was chose in the morning. And
Yeah, it was
performed
chosen in
that.
the morning. Like we gave him some song sheets, and he literally, like, having not learned any of our songs, we actually
Wow.
managed to put up a pretty decent show. I wouldn't say it was perfect because obviously from like he couldn't really relax and get into the energy,
Yeah.
so he was like very focused inside. But towards the end of the set, he was getting into it, and I was so impressed. I was like, dude, I need to do work with this guy.
Yeah.
And
now he's part of the Capitals.
for sure. Then when Travis eventually announced that he's also going to leave and leaving the country, I was like, boom, let's call Wesley. We need to get him in.
So despite it being sad that the guy fell off the ladder,
Yeah.
sorry about falling off the
Yeah.
ladder, guy. But I think it was destiny because now,
Yeah.
you know, it happened. Everything happens for a reason. I believe firmly that everything happens for a reason. And now look, you guys are gelled. You guys are awesome. You're creating awesome music. That is just great.
Oh, thanks, man.
I want to jump to some of your live performances.
Yes.
So I absolutely love that you guys are so creative with each gig you actually perform.
Yeah.
It's my favorite was the 4th of May.
Oh yeah, last year. The Star Wars
When
Day.
you guys, yes, you actually had the sparklers.
Yes.
And apart from wanting to know if you guys are intentional about it or if you just do it because you can and it's fun,
Yeah.
I see that you guys have a sparkler in your single
Yes.
picture. Is there any relation?
Yes, very much. So we it's actually it's come full circle. Thinking about it now, that first gig we did with Wesley was the first time we used sparklers. I actually realized
wow.
that right now. I remember Ricky and I sitting thinking, how do we make the show more interactive? Because I mean, we've been watching bands since, you know, as a kid growing up, and I've always had the sense that the South African market, bands tend to play and there's like this wall on stage where it's not a like us as the band and you the audience, let's have a cool moment together. It's this thing of like the band plays and then the audience comes to watch, and we wanted to break that. So we're constantly thinking of ways, how do we make this more a collective effort between us and the audience? And so that's where the sparkler thing came from. We're like, what if we obviously like budget constraints, like you can't just give 1,000 sparklers out every show, even though we'd love to. So sometimes we'll have a few, like we did at the 4th of May Star Wars Day, hand out a few sparklers.
And then they have to battle it off.
I only get it now. May
Yeah,
the
yeah.
4th be with you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
they literally had sparklers and they fought off each other.
Yeah, but when he said Star Wars now, it's like a sparkler went off in my head, and I was like, ah.
yeah. So it is very deliberate. And we've always used, so I suppose we'll speak about the new single a bit later, but the sparkler is very integral to that, because every time we play that song, we light sparklers for people to kind of
And a
just,
sparkler is a bright light.
exactly, and to light with that. So
I just think the baby looks so dope, just holding it, like chilling,
Yeah, and
holding a
it's like-
sparkler. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to your songs. What was your following your first single? It was Wake Up.
Yeah.
What was the songs after that, and what was the inspiration behind those songs? Was it, you know, or some of them?
Yeah.
Was it life experiences? Like, let's talk about the songwriting process in
Yeah.
a general.
Yeah.
Do you guys base it on like life experiences or personal stories or inspiration that you find?
It's kind of tricky. Hey, each song kind of does its own thing. For instance, sometimes you'll sit and write a song and you'll be like, okay, I want to write a song about, let's say, X subject. And then you write it and you think, okay, how do you, you know, it's like this random thing that you piece together, or it's like a funny story. For instance, we have a song called Johnny Moonlight, which is about like that guy at the party who's like, you know, he's kind of the man, and everyone is so amazed at this guy. But we actually based it off a friend of ours who is that kind of guy, and we would always mock him because he would have this persona called Johnny Moonlight, and then he'd be like, I'm gonna go, you know, take over the party and be Johnny Moonlight.
That's cool.
But that's more, I think, the collective thing. Like if I write a song personally that I take to the band, generally that comes from a very personal experience, or you know, because many times like I'll write a song and it's from a place of me not really understanding life and not having a good grasp of where I'm going or why this is happening, and I kind of write the song as a way to process what's happening.
Like explore
Yes.
those emotions and feelings.
Pretty much. And it's not really a thing of like actually writing it for someone. It's more just writing for myself. And usually at the end of it, if I've dealt with whatever thing it was, I can go, hey guys, here's a song. and then they either go, dude, that's rubbish, throw it away, or they go, hey, that works, let's work it. The songwriting process is very collaborative. Sometimes it's very like on your own. So we're really excited for the future as well, because I think a lot of the songs we have at the moment are still left over from our time with Tanya and Travis. And I mean, we're working on new stuff, but just to honor them, to also like still work that in.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That is nice. Is there going to be a song that's like specifically dedicated to them?
Well, for me personally, Bright Lights, which is our new single, is very much dedicated to Travis because he wrote that song.
Oh, okay.
And that is very much a song that came from a personal, dark place. And so Ricky did the music, Travis did the lyrics. And that song kind of came out. And it's a song that really resonates with anyone who's struggling with stuff. Because I remember the first time I heard the song, I was like, wow, this is, like lyrically, it like hits my heart, and I can relate to that. And then we just figured, let's add a rap in there. And so I kind of put together a little poem to kind of riff off what Travis was speaking about, because obviously I know the whole story behind the story. And yeah, so like that's kind of our, I suppose, a love letter to Travis. Just kind of like saying, like.
I think the creative process is interesting because you find inspiration all around you in life.
Yeah.
So as a band, what is your motto
Our
or
motto,
goals in life?
hold on to hope, never give up. There's always a positive side to everything.
Awesome.
And that's why I think, especially with the whole ESCOM situation, I suppose for the international listeners, the electricity supplier in the country is failing us extremely.
Yeah, we've got something we call load shedding.
Yeah, so every few hours you
Danger,
have a power cut.
gevaar.
Ngozi. Exactly. And so like we just poke fun at a lot of stuff. I mean, it's so easy to get like down in the dumps about things and get frustrated, and the best way to cope with that is just to joke about it. I mean, we stuck in this electricity thing.
Sparklers.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it.
I think you guys are the exact example or image of the saying, when life hands you lemons, make lemonade.
Yeah.
Because you just take the situation in
Exactly.
life, whatever's happening,
Yeah.
and you make something good out of it.
Yeah.
You decide to enjoy life, and you decide to look at the good things in life instead of the obstacles.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, cool, there's an obstacle, let's just go around it, and it's just, life's a song, let's sing along.
Yeah, life's a song, sing along.
Why are you giggling here
Yeah.
next to me?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
But
Yeah,
I'd
you
say
got a
like
sparkler, put it in a baby's hand.
hopefully after he's out of the womb.
I love the trend. I love it. Actually,
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Now,
Sharing is caring, man.
No, you were speaking now about, how things can be serious and how,
Yes.
all of that. So I want to quickly take us back to your first national tour. It sounded like a lot of fun. So take us through the process of performing so much consecutive shows after each other. How do you guys prepare and stay in shape and stay up on your game whilst being on the road permanently as well?
Sure, that's actually I think that's a pretty good question. I think we all underestimated exactly how much of a toll it takes on you, like how much it takes out of you, because it's our first kind of like full on tour that we did, and like fitness is a big thing. Obviously, I've been trying to do a lot of cardio because I kind of jump around on stage and get quite energetic. But the traveling is pretty hectic because I think a lot of times people think you just go and play gigs, but you do radio interviews. There's a lot of press involved as well. So
driving is tiring.
Yeah, so it was in terms of the prep. I don't think we did enough prep. It was an incredible learning experience. But the worst thing was like long hours, like playing a gig late evening, and then you need to get up at 5 a.m. to drive to wherever the next place is to make it in time for a radio interview. And for me, like just shutting up between gigs, like when we're playing, if we're not playing, just keep quiet because your voice gets worn out quite as well. I kind of got sick towards the end of the tour. And that was on the one side nice because I could just be like, I'm sick, I'm not doing anything. But it obviously being sick isn't great.
It's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask, are you guys all pretty much the same, or is there like a instigator or a dominant party, a starter or joke prankster in the band between all of you? Like, is there a few behind the scenes trivia stories that happened while you guys were on tour?
Yeah, so Wesley is kind of, he always makes puns. Always. Like, he never stops.
Puns are
And-
life.
Yeah, but the thing is also, like, I mean, you get puns and then there are puns, and his puns are fantastic. So that's always really, really entertaining. Seth is more of like the mellow guy. He will always look for a coffee shop. He loves his coffee.
Yes, I like coffee.
So on tour, we really visited a lot of coffee places, and then he would critique all of them. Yeah.
With a little bit of berry taste behind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
roast.
and
A
notes
little bit
of
a
oak.
roasted bean aftertaste.
Yeah. So
I hope so.
yeah, and unfortunately, like on this tour, it was a bit of a tricky thing because Ricky got extremely sick just before tour. And the doctor was like, dude, you do not go on this tour. Like, he literally said if he goes on tour, he could die.
Heck.
Yeah, so we ended up just being Seth, Wesley, and myself, and then we had to find drummers in Durban and Cape Town. So Ricky played with us up here in Pretoria and Joburg and such. But that also, like, that was kind of interesting story, like finding new drummers, and like I kind of just took charge there and like making sure that the
I
drummers.
can imagine the stress, but also the adventure.
No, for sure. Like, it was, every gig was fun because you're playing with another musician.
You're just like, whatever goes.
Yeah, and you kind of, at that point, you prepare as well as you can, and then once you hit the stage, like, you can't really do anything else. But I'd say I'm kind of like, I think they call me the father, because like they all will run around, and I'm usually like the structured one. I'm like, no guys, we've got deadlines, we've got to stay here. Ricky is like the party animal. He just does whatever.
The truth
Yeah,
comes out.
Yeah, good in the moment. So
It's like, Ricky,
yeah, so
I
like,
am your
and
father.
It's Ricky, I'm your father. I might use that in the future. But I think it's nice that we have four. Like Seth usually also says, like, it's kind of cool that we're four friends who probably wouldn't have hung out in any other context, because we're so different. But like the band thing is kind of this nice common ground where all four of us can kind of relate.
I actually want to ask about
yeah.
that. Like, you guys seem to have such a quite epically balanced dynamic between you guys.
Yeah.
So how do you actually keep it balanced between, the friendship and then work and then creativity?
Yeah. Well,
Being
look,
four
I
different
think,
creatives.
Yeah, I think in that regard, like Seth and Wesley have been kind of very generous to a certain degree. They've kind of let Ricky and myself just run with it for the time being. So it's generally just between Ricky and myself, like majority of the things. I mean, they obviously, Seth and Wesley add their ideas, but as far as like final decisions and stuff, that usually comes down to Ricky and myself. And I think we just, we all want the same thing, is we want the band to do well. So it's never really a thing of my idea is necessarily better than your idea. It's what's going to work better for the band. And I think we all have that mindset where it's definitely not about me and my thing, and that really helps so much with the dynamic because it's a team effort. It's not like a
It's
like
awesome
a
to see
star
on
of the show.
stage how you read each other.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
always joking, which is
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
I can just see Ricky like putting that smile of, oh, we're doing that song now.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that you guys actually respect each other and read each other from just a stage perspective.
Yeah.
And I don't know, behind the
Yeah.
scenes.
Well, look, I mean, apart from the band, we've played together for many years, and you kind of get used to each other, so you kind of feel where someone is going. And we never, I mean, you'll write out a set list, but you never really stick to it because it depends on what works in the moment. So we'll have like a quick look and be like, are we doing that song? And it's just it's like eyebrow
Those are
talk.
the eyebrows, yeah.
Yeah, you don't,
Telepathically.
yeah, so no words. You just like wiggle your eyebrows and then
He's
he.
just
he
Oh,
very
will-
that
teeth.
that wiggle is that song, and if the one eyebrow goes up, then it's that song.
Exactly. So
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
yeah. Yeah. So that's, I think it's just we put friends first and
Yeah.
then business,
I
and
think-
that really helps.
I think it's also easy to fall off balance whilst being four young guys on the road, doing what you love, being in the limelight all the time. So how do you guys stay grounded and balanced in life itself?
And
stay,
humble.
Yeah, stay humble and rooted, especially because we are in a high demanding industry, which is the music industry in South Africa.
Yeah.
So how do you guys like stay humble?
Well, I mean, staying humble, that's on the assumption that we are humble already. which I'm not necessarily that sure about. But I think yeah. Okay, well, thanks, dude. Look, I mean, we're really blessed to be able to do what we're doing, and I think because, like you said, it's a very demanding, a very competitive industry. Like every opportunity you get is actually just a blessing. Like I don't think any musician deserves to be anywhere. It's. I mean, a lot of people work hard, for instance. Hours and hours of rehearsal, but it's so competitive. Like it's literally a thing of like right time, right place. And yes, I suppose the work in terms of what you do and the product you deliver is really important. But I don't think you can ever take it for granted or really think that you anything. Because I think especially in today, like I mean, you see in social media or whatever, like it can be gone in an instant.
Sure.
And so we don't have any sort of perception that this is like gonna necessarily last, or we don't have any expectation
Or
that
explode in fame.
yeah, or that it will go even bigger than it is now. We're literally just taking it like every day at a time and enjoying the moment, because for all we know, this could be the last gig we play together. I mean, anything could happen.
I think it's good to keep that, even if you win a Grammy and you win a music
fingers
award,
crossed.
and whatever. I think if you keep, I think for anyone, and I think it's good advice. Coming from you, I think it's good for other people, young musicians, to know. I think it's good if you keep that mind and set that, even if you win a Grammy and you're, good and you're awesome, you're doing well. I think it's well to keep that in mind, to be like, let's just enjoy what we're doing now. I think it's nice.
Well, look, I mean, the thing is also like, I'm not saying that cool, you just got to be right time, right place, so it really doesn't matter. Like I'd still say it's a lot of hard work. You really have to.
It's the hard work to get you to the right place at the right time.
Like it's. I think it was. I'm not sure whether it was Thomas Edison, but someone said like, success is when perfect preparation meets the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't quote me on that because I'm not sure if that's him.
I'm not sure who said it, but I've heard that quote before.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, you get many opportunities in life, but if you're not prepared for it, it's not gonna work out in your favor.
Yeah.
So hard work and appreciate every single opportunity you get.
Okay, humble Conrad. We're going to take a quick break and we will be listening to The Capital's brand new single, Bright Lights.
When we return, we will be talking about this awesome song and also get to know the main personally behind the band, The Capitals, their inspiration for Bright Lights, and more about the song. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere.
Bright lights and happy faces, and all of you from different places. I've got this feeling inside, and whoa, won't you let go? Whoa, whoa, let go. Let go what you're hiding inside. Recklessly loving life, I'm free. Yes, I am. I'm feeling anxious for what's to come. Uncharted waters are shaping who I am. Not gonna hold back, no running from me, I'm free. Whoa. Start. How exciting, so open and free. I got a blank page in front of me and I'm free. Whoa, whoa. tension. Suspense, believe suspensions. Intentless contentions, contentless intentions. CEO with simply time to end this. I don't think my piece is something from a thing I learned. A faded light, I've reignited by this thing I unearned. Let go. Let go what you're hiding inside. Whoa.
And welcome back to Let's Talk Showbiz, in studio with us, The Capitals lead singer. And that was their new single, Bright Lights, now available on all streaming media and websites. So let's talk about the song. Who wrote it? What's the story and inspiration behind it? I know you gave a little brief information, but give us some more.
So the previous vocalist, Travis Millett, he wrote the song from a kind of a dark place. He was going through some really tough times. And he basically... It was a really cool moment where he was writing the song and something changed in him, where he was very depressed and almost like bitter about the past and things. And writing the song completely changed him. And when he came out on the other side, it was like, this is a different guy.
Wow.
And so basically the song is just about holding on to hope, like learning from the past, using the past to actually change yourself. Because obviously things happen to everyone. Everyone has got something that they're struggling with. And the moment you give up is the moment you basically there's no hope or there's no chance that it'll change. So if you keep having hope, there's always the chance that it would change and it could be better.
Like that.
And for him, for instance, like he learned from his scars from the past. And there's a line in the song about that. He's turning past scars into laughter. And that's basically where it came from, is to be able to, despite the things that have happened in the past, like to have joy and peace about it.
That's awesome.
No.
So you said something about a baby with a sparkler. So there's already a music video out?
No, that's the cover. So we did a cover for the single.
Yes.
Okay, I missed that because I was about to ask: is there a music video coming
In the
up?
works. In the works. We actually busy.
Is there gonna be sparklers in the music?
For sure. Yeah. There's definitely gonna be sparklers in there.
Just please don't put too many babies.
No babies. No babies in the music video.
Weird
Yeah. No, I don't know how many people would be keen on getting the sonograms.
Wow. You can actually do your sonogram, but put your lyrics in there.
Oh yeah, why not? Have
But like jumping back to that thing where you said doesn't help you give up. I'm gonna loosely quote it, but someone in my life constantly says to me, once you give up, your voice about the matter dies.
Yes.
So I just feel like that's an awesome point that you made. And
it's also like, I wish I knew where this quote came from, because I read this and I was like, this is so cool. But it's like, a struggling thing isn't dead. Like, I mean, you always see it in movies, like it might be a bit dark, but if someone is like, some assassin is like grabbing the oak and there's like a struggle, and then they stop. But it's like, as if you're struggling through stuff in life, like there's still a chance that it could change, like, because you're still in it fighting. But the moment you stop struggling, then it's like game over.
It's like that saying that I always go by, where it says, in life, it's not about when we fall and how hard we fall. It's about how we stand up and continue going forward after we fall. I think it works hand in hand. Okay, so let's talk about the Splashy Fest last year.
Yes.
How was that? How did it happen? How was the experience?
It was really, really great. This time of year is really fun because Ricky's birthday is on the 31st of March, and like there are many festivals kind of this time of year, and a lot of times they fall on his birthday. So it was a massive party. Obviously getting to celebrate your friend's birthday with him, and then playing like Splashy Fin, which is a fantastic festival. We were just blessed. We applied to get in, and they had us. And the response was really great. I think the coolest moment for us at the festival was obviously having released Wake Up the September before. So that's about 6 months before. we started playing. We started our set with that song, and when we started playing that thing, immediately some of the people were like, "Oh, whoa!" Like you can see a reaction from
Like they know
recognizing
the song.
Yeah,
That's
it's not
cool.
necessarily like it wasn't like thousands of people.
But it's still, I think it's still good for you to see that. It's
Yeah,
kind of like a
it's-
recognition moment where
For
like,
sure.
oh, they know our song. They know what
Yeah.
we're going to do. Cool.
And
it's just like,
Immediately
psychs
set
you
the
up
gig
more.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it immediately set the set up because, well, set the set up, but because the energy immediately shifted because it's kind of like a, hey, I kind of know you sort of, but let's get to know each other better. And it was really fun. It was like, I would highly recommend Splashy to
would you say
anyone.
that Splashy Fest was one of your guys' biggest and most enjoyable performances, or is there like little other performances that you guys also cherish? Like each and every performance
For sure,
obviously
yeah,
is
everyone is
it's
different.
unique in its own way and you enjoy each one, but is the Splashy Fin Festival, is it the one that stands out for you guys, or was there another one that you guys say like?
No, Splashy definitely stands out for us because it was one of our first festival. Well, no, it was our first festival gig, as the Capitals, as the new lineup, and like I said, the reaction was pretty cool. So it'll definitely be one of, and there were a lot of things that happened. We also did the Sparklers, and the reaction to the Sparklers were great. In I think like the third song, Wesley snapped a string, and the thing is we didn't have a guitar tech at that point, so he like swapped his or like replaced his string in lightning fast time. I've never seen anyone do that in the middle of like I think it was, I think it was like a chorus and a bridge, and he was back on track in tune. I was very impressed. But that gig is, or like Splashy Fest is definitely right up there in some of the most memorable moments, not just because of the actual playing, but I mean it's a camping thing, it's a fantastic festival, and yeah, it was just like a fun kind of moment because it was the first, like, let's call it quote unquote tour moment where like Seth, Wesley, Ricky and myself, the four of us went together as a collective. So I can't necessarily speak for the other Oaks, but for me personally, that is a very, very important.
It's a nice festival, and I've seen. I haven't been there myself, unfortunately.
Highly recommend it.
But I've like read about it, and I see about it, and I've had a lot of friends that go all the time, and they just can't. It's also different from the other festivals. Not that I'm like slating the other ones, because each festival, but it's a different vibe. It's a different. I think it's also a bit more like family friendly.
As far as I know, like they that's one of their big things, is family friendliness. I think sometimes some of the bands that play don't really respect that always. Especially last year there was a band that got a little rough. I won't say who, but it's very family friendly. Take your kids, take your friends.
Splashy Fest, make sure you go.
So I've got two questions.
Yes.
First one is, any tips for aspiring musicians and artists, gig life or recording or whatever?
Just keep doing what you're doing. Like
swimming.
Exactly. It's that whole thing of like, you do a project and you look back at it and then you don't necessarily enjoy it, but that's because in the process you got better. And keep improving. You're never gonna learn anything. Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones, in an interview, I think it was like, I don't know, a few years ago, we were talking about guitaring, and it's like, he was specifically talking about the blues, but I think that can apply to like any sort of craft really. Is he play the blues and then think, okay, cool, he's kind of got a grasp on it, and then he looks back at was it Robert Johnson, I think, it's like considered the father of the blues, and then he listens to some of his tracks and he's just like, oh no, I've got so far to go. And that's like, even some of the best guitarists in the world, like obviously guitar is my frame of reference, but you never I don't think you ever really quote unquote arrive. There's always something to learn, so work hard, just work on your craft and grab every opportunity you get with both hands.
Cool.
And it's always about relationships. Like don't damage a relationship for the sake of the craft or getting somewhere, because if you're 80 years old and your fingers are like old and broken and you can't play guitar anymore, you still want to be able to have a conversation with the oak that you recorded a track with 50 years before. Or whatever.
That's true.
And then my second question, obviously knowing you guys aren't just a band, you also have your personal workforce and going out there. Other than music, other than the careers that you already have, which you can briefly say, what would you do career-wise?
Okay, well,
Tough question.
yeah. So Seth is doing his masters in pharmacology.
Whoa.
Yeah. So he.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he's
That was unexpected.
Yeah. So he does research on like cancer treatments and things,
Wow.
and he really enjoys that. So he would definitely go into that
So
direction.
that would definitely be a career choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Wesley is a chemical engineer, and he is loving his job as well. He's currently on a refinery plant in Sasselberg. And he would, like apart from music, he'd love to keep doing that. So that's pretty spot on. Ricky, I think, would just be a drummer. Like he, as far as I know, that's like, or not necessarily a drummer, but a musician.
Isn't
Like,
he involved in like multiple business projects?
yeah, he does. Like he does some events planning and
Coffee shop or something?
yeah. Well, he helped out with some coffee shop development and stuff. But I know, at his heart, he's a musician, and that's been his dream as long as he can remember. So I don't think there's really an alternative for him. For me
Okay.
personally, it'll either be music or anything in film. Like I love making
Are
films.
you pursuing film now?
Sort of, yeah. Like it's kind of I mean, the film industry in South Africa is a bit small, which is nice because you like everyone knows everyone. But it's definitely growing as well, which is very exciting for me.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely like digging in that side as well. It's a bit like, I won't lie, it's a bit difficult to do the music and film both, because at the moment neither of them can necessarily sustain me financially. So my day job is I'm an editor, which is cool because I'm like on the edge of the film thing. But yeah, that's kind of the plan.
Awesome. So we've got the Capitals. They've got the new single that just dropped. They've got some awesome new song that's coming out soon. You said that the full album looking at about August.
August,
release.
yeah, the EP.
So exciting things for you guys. More performances, maybe another tour. Awesome things coming up for the Capital. Unfortunately, that's all we have for today. Keep up with Speech of the Band, the Capitals, to find out more about these super cool lads and their band. What an awesome interview. But before we're done, it's time for our little game called Oh Snap.
Oh, snap.
Yes, Oh Snap. Okay, so now it's time for a crazy round of Gone in 60 Seconds. I mean, Oh Snap. Where guests have to blurb out the first word that comes to their mind when we give them a specific word. Guest needs to answer as quick as possible and get as many words in 60 seconds as they can.
Okay.
So now remember, you cannot say pass. You have to answer. If you answer wrong, so meaning you say something irrelevant or you take too long to answer the question, then the word falls out and you'll be interrupted by an oh snap. So we're going to quickly demonstrate for you.
Okay.
So I'll ask you the questions.
Okay.
Blue,
Sky,
music,
drums,
shopping center,
Mall of Africa,
Jersey.
cardigan.
Yeah, so you know.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you
But-
give me the main word and I have to relate something to that.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And obviously faster because now I
Yeah.
Because
just
you've got
went
60
into
seconds.
little-
For sure.
Yeah, and so what we forgot to mention the other times is at the end of each season, there's a scoreboard with all of our guests that
Okay.
we release, and the guest with the highest score gets a awesome Let's Talk Showbiz hamper.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's win a hamper, hopefully.
So
Okay, so you're ready. We've got Elvira standing by with the timer. You can read.
cool.
Okay, let's do it. 3,
All right.
2, 1. go.
Music,
The capitals.
instrument,
Guitar.
flower,
Power.
favorite music genre,
Rock.
4th of July. I mean May.
Star Wars.
Favorite song,
Bright Lights.
water.
Drink.
Favorite singer,
John Foreman.
winter.
Summer.
Favorite drink,
Fanta.
favorite SA city,
Pretoria.
transport.
Car.
Favorite food.
Hot dog.
Sing the first song in your head.
I just won't stop trying.
Film,
The Lord of the Rings.
television.
Hotel.
The last meal you had.
Pasta.
Horror.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Airline.
Qantas.
Bright lights.
The Capitals.
The X Factor.
Simon Cowell.
Continue the song Just a Small Town Girl.
Living in a Small Town World.
And sing the first Lady Gaga song in your mind.
Ra 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 ah ah.
Planet.
Fitness.
Board game.
Monopoly.
And time.
Oh.
You were so good.
Yes, you got a lot, like, right? That was amazing. Awesome. Well done.
Thanks.
And that concludes our episode for today. What an honor to have you in Studio Conrad with us, representing the Capitals, an awesome band, making some awesome music. Thank you for your time and sharing some awesome insights in the world of music with us and the listeners out
Yes, so
there.
you can follow their band, performer careers, and project initiatives. So for now, we're just going to give the band handheld and Conrad's handheld.
Oh, cool. I am at Conbad CONBAD, and you can follow the band at The Capitals Official.
Awesome. And then we'll post the other members' handhelds on Facebook.
Be sure to catch up everything of today's episode and all of our other episodes and the What's Hot section on our social media, where we post information regularly to keep you in the loop.
Thank you to all the listeners joining for today for another fantastic episode and adventure on Let's Talk Showbiz. Tune in every Friday from 11:30 to 12:30 for your weekly dose of what's hot and entertainment in the industry locally and internationally, and a weekly guest feature.
That's right. And our quote for the week: where words fail, music speaks. I think it's amazing how true beauty of music is how it connects people. It's exactly what Conrad said. That's what they want to do as the band, as the Capital. They're connecting people. Remember to keep it real, do what you love and love what you do, and be yourself. Work for your dreams and your passions and never give up. Life is a song. Let's all sing along till next week. Ciao.
Bye.
Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za